Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Craig, it's Much Gear Shack. This guitar was, I gave you guys a teaser like a month ago, and I thought it was going to be here. I don't know what the deal was. It said it was in a local warehouse. This was also bought off of Temu. This is not a counterfeit. This is actually its own thing. So, the box is pretty beat up, so I'm a little concerned if there's any damage. This is like a departure from what I would usually buy, and it's completely out of my wheelhouse. Oh, we got a string off already. All right, it's a headless guitar, fan fret, so it's multi-scale. Now this is its own company. It's got, it says made in China on it, but underneath this, I'm pretty sure, yes, AcePro Guitar Technologies. So they've got their own little store on Temu, and they got quite a few different guitars. They have 7 strings. At first glance, it's really nice quality. Almost looks like swamp ash. It's really open grain. We'll get a better look at it on the Workbench, but the frets are balled over nice. I'm not going to do anything with the frets. That's great. Something weird here, though. There's marker. A little bit here, too. And a whole bunch here. And even more here. So I have no idea what was going on there. I'll be able to get that off there. I'll try something that should take that off. That's kind of bizarre because they really paid attention to the fit and finish on this thing. It has really nice knobs. Pretty cool. All right, guys, let's go put it on the Workbench, take a closer look at it. Let's get a closer look at this thing. The marker ended up coming off with rubbing alcohol. No clue what that was about. And oh, by the way, there's the stool that I was supposed to put in that other video. If you've been watching the channel, you know what I was talking about. My wife bought me this as a gift. Pretty cool. It was really hard to get it to Alaska. No one wanted to ship it, so we ended up having to pay a fortune to get it up here, but it's a really cool stool. Now, specs say that it's baked ash, and it looks like ash to me. Baked maple fret, baked maple neck with stainless steel frets, balled over. I don't have to do anything on this guitar at all. The frets are perfect on it. It's got the nice spoke truss rod adjust. It has push-pull coil taps for the pickups. This guitar was $390 some, made by a company called AcePro. I gotta trim off that string. I gotta put new strings on it anyway. You know, I've looked this guitar over and I can't find really any flaws on it. It's just great quality. I would, you know, if you would have handed me this guitar and told me it was several $1,000s, I would have believed it. And I've had many guitars that are worth several $1,000s, so I think I'm just talking out of my ass here, guys. Several Music Man guitars, Majesties, custom shop Les Pauls. This for the, it's just dumbfounding to me that they can produce these things. I mean, there's just, I don't see any kind of flaws on it, you know. And I'm sure the hardware isn't top notch. But it looks pretty decent to me. The frets are just flawless. It looks like quarter sawn maple. Has the 0 fret. And we'll get it in there, change the strings on it, get a playing demo, talk a little bit more about it. Alright guys, I'm going to take these strings off. I'm going to put some Ernie Ball Hybrid Slinky 9-46 on there. It's got some cheap strings on it, which you'd kind of expect. So we'll learn together how to restring a headless guitar. It's got these little screws up here on the headstock. We just got to loosen those up. Little grub screws, it looks like they are. So I said the guitar had a 0 nut, and if you're not familiar with that, you can see it's right there. And what it basically is, it's just an extra fret right up by the nut, and kind of acts like a nut for the open strings. It determines kind of the height of the strings above the fretboard, ensuring that the sound, kind of similar to the fretted notes. So traditional nut's still present, but primarily serves to space the strings correctly rather than setting their height over the fretboard. And I'm kind of reading that off of Google's interpretation, or the interpretation of a 0 nut, or 0 fret, sorry. No, I'm not going to just snap those all off. I like to keep old string because you just never know if you have a use for them. You can see how it pinches it down in 2 different places. Alright, and then you just pop out of those saddles. And we'll just tuck those into the drawer. If you need spare strings for another guitar project or whatever, pull off this plastic off the pickups. It has a little tag for the humbucker single coil push-pull pot that it has. We'll take a look up inside the cavity back here and just see what it's got for pots and whatnot on it. I have a little better shot of the pickups. Don't know what they are, but we're going to pull one out and see what it says on the back of it. And these are mounted into the body, so you don't have any pickup rings. It's a direct mount type of situation. Let's see what we got. So it looks like they've got 2 springs just installed in the pickup cavity. Pickup cavity is really clean. Pickup just says HS660 neck. So, yeah, who knows? All right. See our pickup cavity. Same thing, HS660 bridge says. So, some kind of proprietary pickup for them, possibly. Take a look at our cavity here. That cavity. So we have a full-size pot. It says Alpha. Made in Korea. Actually has cloth wiring. That's interesting. There's our push-pull pot and our selector switch. Very clean cavity. Looks like it's got shielding paint in it. Wow, I'm really impressed with the workmanship on this. For the sake of exploration, let's pull the neck. So there's our neck pocket. I said baked ash. Not positive. It doesn't look overly baked to me, but maybe it is lightly. It's hard to say. It does look like ash though. Alright. Okay. Kind of wiping it down a little bit. Get a better shot of the fretwork. Really nice fretwork. Let's check out our pickup, see what kind of output we're getting off of them. Alright, so on our bridge pickup, reading 16.13, middle, 5.658. Neck, 0.8.54. That's interesting. So we'll split the coil. Reading 4.317 on the neck, down to 2.851 middle, and 0.8.23 on the bridge. It's very flat. The specs tell me it's 18. Yep, so we got 18-inch fretboard radius. So a pretty flat radius. Reading 0.812. My battery's dying on this thing. And 0.823 on the 12th fret. So let's see what our scale is running to the bridge. Yeah, so like 25, the high E, and 25.5 on the low E. So that's interesting. You know, I don't know a lot about the fan frets, but I guess it's just a multi-scale thing. It allows you to have a longer scale on the high E. You can do more drop tunings and still keep the same type of tension on the strings from what I gather. So the neck shape is listed as a thin U. So let's check it out at the... And this push is really easy, so it's not going to damage the neck. Yeah, I would say that's kind of a thinner U shape. You can kind of see at the bottom. It's a very comfortable neck, though. This is also listed as having jumbo frets, and the jumbo stainless frets has a dual action truss rod, and as you see in this picture, it looks like reinforcement rods on each side of the neck. So I guess you just slide these things in. Go through the headstock. So it just slides up through the headstock there. You pull it tight. String sets down in this little notch here. And you just tighten it down up here. Pretty straightforward, I guess. I've never had a headless guitar before, so don't really know. I'll snip all these loose strings off, or these string ends. All right, let's tune it up. All right. Right about 1.25 on the high E and low E. So we're good to go. Check for some fret buzz. Stick it over there and check it out. All right, we got her all set up good, and I've been playing this thing now for the past couple of days, and I used to be a gear snob myself. I wouldn't touch anything. Initially, didn't have Gibson, Fender, Ernie Ball Music Man, anything that was basically U.S. or Japan made. And one day I was just in a guitar shop and I checked out some cheaper guitars, and this is many years ago. I was really blown away by the quality of some of the cheaper stuff. Which led me into buying some of the fakes, counterfeits, whatever, off of Temu, just because I was extremely curious, and I was a huge Dimebag Darrell fan, and I couldn't afford the real, USA-made custom shop, so I bought some of those. That kind of started the whole thing. With this thing, though, it's a whole different thing. This thing here it's called an AcePro. They're their own thing. They have a store on eBay, which I'll show you right here, and I'll put a link to their store in the description. They sell on Temu, they sell on AliExpress, a lot of different style of guitars, but this is kind of like their own thing here. And I seen them on there, and I was like, you know what, those look really interesting. I was always interested in the fan fret multi-scale guitars, but I wasn't going to spend thousands of dollars on because I just didn't know if I was going to like it. I didn't know if I was going to like a headless guitar either. The guitar is actually really balanced, and it's very lightweight. The neck is super comfortable. I don't miss having a headstock. It's very comfortable to play. It reminds me of my Ernie Ball Music Man Axis, and that's my main guitar. Kind of feels like that a little bit. It's a smaller guitar, and I just kind of like how it's compact feeling. This thing has metal knobs on it. As you've seen, it has full-size pots. The pickups sound great. you know, with the coil taps and everything, which we'll go into here in a second, I actually don't feel a need to modify this guitar at all. The frets are almost flawless. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're 100% perfect. There's a couple of them where the one of them's just a little bit, and that's nitpicking, you know, a little bit longer than the other ones, but that could be dressed down. But the rest of them are flawless. You know, they're stainless steel frets. They're really smooth. They're dressed really nicely. The finish on the neck is great. It's a baked maple. They've got some kind of a satin finish on it, but it's really smooth. Feels great. Whatever the finish on the body, it's kind of a satin finish also. But you know, it's a nice feeling guitar. It's very, like I said, very balanced. Some people are gonna say it's hideous. My wife thought it was super ugly. She actually, on the shipping thing that she had to fill out for it to come here, she put ugly guitar. But in person, she actually really likes it. It's very thin. These don't dig into you at all, though. I thought maybe that would be an issue, but it's not. It's just a very ergonomically correct feeling guitar. You know, I'm shocked. It's you know, like I said, I was never bought one of these for the prices that they sell for. Like, you know, I would never spent the money on a higher end headless guitar because just I didn't know. And the fan fret thing, you know, you don't even notice that when you're playing it. I really don't. I thought maybe that would be funky, but it's not at all. So far, all the hardware feels really good on it. Nothing feels like it would want to strip out like on some of the other ones I've bought. This thing actually feels very well made. $390 some. I paid a little over $400 to get it shipped here to Alaska. Bearing in mind, I have to pay a little bit more because I have to have it shipped to Tacoma, Washington, and then they ship it up here. So, you know, you'll pay a little bit less. They make 7-string versions of this. Now, I've never owned a 7-string guitar, but I am going to buy one. I'm going to order one of them from them because I'm really impressed with this. Now, this thing took forever to get here. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, I gave a couple sneak peeks on this thing. I thought it would be here by now. It took a month to get. It was supposed to be in a U.S. warehouse, so I don't know what's going on with that, or if there was just some kind of issue with shipping. I'm not really sure. But it came, it's everything that they said it was, and I'm impressed. Everything, it's just a really great guitar. You know, like I said, you have a lot of gear snobs out there going like, oh, it's a piece of crap, you know, I don't care, you bought it off Temu, it's made in China, as you type on your Chinese-made device. You know, I was the same way for a long time. You don't have to spend a fortune to make music, and you don't have to spend a fortune to get a great guitar. I played Squiers that are every bit as good as some of the higher end stuff. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I'm being 100% honest here. This is a 1966 Fender Jaguar, and you've seen I have a full-length video review I did on this guitar. This is the real deal. Made in USA, vintage guitar. I played the Squier version of this. They do the block inlays and everything. At Guitar Center, I played 3 or 4 of them. Blown away. Now, is it as good as this? No, of course not. You know, I'm not saying that it's as good as this. But the thing played great. It sounded great. You know, and it was like less than $500. So you don't have to spend, you know, this guitar here, you know, sells from anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000. You don't have to spend big money to get a nice guitar and make music with it. So don't let people tell you that, because that's bull. Now, you know, I'm like anybody else, and I like having nice guitars, and I've got, you know, several high-end guitars, and I've had tons of high-end guitars over the years. And I wouldn't even look at anything cheaper. But some of these guitars I've bought off of Temu have really opened my eyes, you know. Are they playable great out of the box? No. Besides this one. This one out of the box, beyond the one string you've seen, was broken. When I replaced that string, you know, and tuned it up before I replaced the strings on it, you know, played great. Didn't have to do anything to it. So, you know, on the Temu guitars I've bought, they need some work. You know, if you're going to get those out of the box, you know, I think you're going to play them, probably not. I've had to do a lot of fret work on them, which you've seen in the videos, and I've had to do, you know, the setup, and the hardware on those is pretty poor. Pickups aren't great either. These things here, not microphonic at all. They sound fantastic. I was actually going to replace these, and I still might, because I really like the Seymour Duncan Black Winters set, and it's a neon green, which I'll put a picture of right here. I think it'll look cool on this guitar. But sound-wise, these sound great. So, you know, you wouldn't even really have to replace these, because they sound fantastic. Like I said, I'm going on and like gushing like a schoolgirl over this thing, but I am so blown away. And you can scoff all you want until you've played one of these things yourself and seen. And if you're in Alaska, come over to my house. I'll let you play it. You know, you can't just discount everything just because it's cheap or made in China. You know, there is some crap. I'll give you that. There is some just straight garbage out there. So you got to kind of, you know, you're rolling the dice a lot of times, you know, and I rolled the dice on this. I thought maybe it looked great by the pictures, And I seen some reviews people had done on them, and I was like, wow, this looks like it's just above average, and it is. But, you know, I don't know what else to say about it, so let's stop talking and just hear what it sounds like. So I'll kind of just go through the pickups, and we'll do the coil taps, we'll do some dirty and some clean, you know, just the typical things just so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. That's on our bridge, go middle. Our neck. Let's split the coils. Roll back the volume a little bit. A lot of tonal variations. I really like these pickups. The more I play it, the more I'm not sure I even want to replace them. Very easy to adjust too. I'm really surprised. Forgive my sloppy playing. now that you suffered through my playing, you know, it's a fun guitar to play. I really, really dig it. I have noticed already, I don't know if you can tell, but right in here where I pick, I don't know if the light's going to catch it right. It's already starting to shine up a little bit, so that's... But I played a lot in the last couple of days, so maybe it's just from playing. So that's something to note, too, that it is starting to polish up there. But that's going to happen with any kind of a matte finish. That's just the nature of the beast. Again, I am just blown away by this thing. I love it. It's awesome. I'll put a link to this exact guitar in the description. It's... Man, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's freaking awesome. I love it. You may hate it. You may say you suck. The whole review sucked. Well, you know what? You're entitled to your opinion. For us, you guys that are interested in this thing, awesome. Check one out. They're inexpensive, and it's just a joy to play. So, till next time, guys, I really appreciate you watching. I'm over 1,800 subscribers. Again, I am just, I'm blown away, guys. It means the world to me. You guys are freaking awesome. And I've got more gear reviews coming up, so stay tuned. See you guys next time.